This is Jean Moroney of Thinking Directions. What I'd like to take 3 minutes to do here today is to introduce you to a very effective thinking tactic. It's a tactic that I teach in every class I give. I'm on a mission to teach the whole world this thinking tactic because I think it improves everybody's ability to make good judgments, reach good decisions, solve more problems, communicate more effectively. It's the all-round #1 thinking tactic, and it's called thinking on paper. It's really very simple. Here's an example from my thinking notebook. You can't really read it, but basically I wrote a question at the top of the page, and then I just transcribed my thinking as I did it in full sentences. When you do this, miraculous things happen. By that discipline of putting the goal at the top of the page, suddenly you become more focused. You know your immediate purpose and you zero in on it, and you start thinking step by step toward an answer. By writing out the words in full sentences, by writing out the thoughts in full sentences, you slow yourself down so that you actually consider each thought. A lot of times the ideas just flip through your mind. They go by so fast that you just hear a word or a phrase. When you turn that into a full sentence that expresses the whole thought, it gives you a moment to look at it and say, is that really true? And you do that. You do that completely naturally as you're writing it down, and often after I've written a little bit, I'll then say, no, that's not true. And that's what I'll write out. No, that's not true. The truth is, and then you go on. And so by means of recording your thinking as you do it, you also are checking your thinking as you do it, making sure there aren't gaps in your thinking, all because you're putting out the thoughts in full sentences on paper. Now, you don't need to do thinking on paper all the time. Most of the time, you can think in your head, and it works perfectly fine. But when you start feeling stuck, when it feels like those mental gears are not moving, that's the time that thinking on paper can make a big difference. Thinking on paper gives you extra mental leverage. It helps reduce the amount of mental overload involved in thinking. It helps to increase the number of connections that you make when you're thinking. It's a very simple technique that, although it slows you down temporarily to do this writing out, it speeds you up in the long run because instead of getting stuck, you're able to persevere and get an answer. Very simple concept, very easy to do. I teach it. I have a free teleclass called Jumpstart Your Thinking where you can learn more about this and get a handout on it. I have a $6.95 pamphlet on thinking on paper. I want to make this cheap and easy and accessible to people. I have a $29.95 CD on thinking on paper with some more, also includes the pamphlet. And of course, I teach this in all of my major courses. It's a really important tactic. It can help you think more effectively whenever you need to do that. It helps you make the best use of your thinking time. So, have I convinced you? Feel free to email me, Jean Moroney, jm@thinkingdirections.com, or you can visit my site, www.thinkingdirections.com.